probably going to regret this, and I hope I don't cry. I can't do this. I'm getting too defensive. I have chills. I mean, it could also be because the window's open and it's a little chilly out. Oh my goodness. Hey book lovers, I've seen people do this before. This is not a new idea, but for some reason I thought it might be a good idea to look at some of the 1-star reviews of my favorite books. I'm not going to include books that are part of a series. Assistant to the Villain, Fourth Wing, not even gonna go there. The first one that I want to start with is honestly probably my favorite book of all time. I've read it 3 times now, and that is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. For whatever reason, I love this book. The first time I read it, this book changed my brain chemistry. Haven't read it, or at least seen the movie starring Rachel McAdams and Eric Bana, which I think honestly was probably one of my favorite adaptations. It follows this guy, Henry, who has like a chromosomal impairment that forces him to involuntarily time travel. And then also this woman, Claire, who is the love of his life. I love this book. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the 1-star reviews. Okay, I love to see this. It has 1.8 million reviews and an even 4-star rating on Goodreads, so that's awesome. It does have mostly 5 stars, but there are 55,000 1-star reviews. Okay. This one's kind of funny. Meh, I wish I could go back in time and read something else. You see what you did there, because it's a time travel book. Couldn't get past the uninspired, unengaging prose to whatever carne populi might be within. You know what? I'm not smart enough to know what that means, so joke's on you. Oh, okay. This one looks scary. This one is so long. So this person says, this is the worst book I've read all year. First, how can people say this is the most beautiful love story ever written? I'm sorry, but no, don't get confused. This is not a love story. This is an adult man ruining a 6-year-old girl's life by breaking all his rules and telling her they'll marry in the future. This is not a funny book. Reading this made me sad. Who said it was funny? I'm getting defensive, I'm sorry. Henry has a lot of rules about the future and not telling things that are going to happen to other people, but then in every chapter he goes and tells Claire things about himself, their relationship, her childhood, her... No, he doesn't! I don't think she read the book. I really don't. I stopped reading after 50 pages. Life's too short for books this bad, and if Niffenegger can't write to save her life. I'm sorry. This book is beautifully written. I can't do this. I'm getting too defensive. Why can't there be a negative star rating? I hated this book, and yes, I did finish it. All way too many pages of it. It is like 500 pages. It doesn't look it. Like it looks maybe 300 pages. Yeah, it's over 500 pages. I don't like this. Okay, the next book that we're gonna look at is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is another book that changed my brain chemistry. I read it back in college. I just really liked it. I don't know what else to tell you. I loved it so much that my youngest son's middle name is Bram. Let's see the haters on this one. Oh wow, The Time Traveler's Wife actually has more ratings than Dracula, but 1.3 million ratings, 4.02 star rating. Again, mostly 5 stars, but there are 23,000 1-star reviews. 1 star, DNF 32% in, sorry, I just couldn't do it. Okay, that is fair, because this book, it was written in what? First published in 1897. So like for somebody to say that they couldn't finish it, I get it. I can understand that. I'm curious to see for people who did finish it, what they thought. Okay, that's another DNF. Another DNF, another DNF. I think most of these 1-star reviews are just people who couldn't get through it. Okay, this one's not that long. All right. If it were possible to give the book 0 stars, I would. Don't read this book. It's awful. The characters are all absolutely insufferable, and the female characters especially are written in such a way that it makes it clear that Stoker did not hold very progressive attitudes about women. Here again, it was written in 1897. And honestly, even if you aren't as aggravated as I was about literally all of the characters, the book isn't actually that interesting. It's written through several characters' diaries, and it makes the entire book drag and seem like a lot of Victorian whining and hand-wringing. So don't read this if you're looking for any cool vampire stuff. I agree. Don't read this if you're just looking for cool vampire stuff. On to the next. The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood, aka the only Ellie Hazelwood that I loved with my whole heart. If you don't know, this book, when this book came out in like what, 2022, 21? When did this come out? 21. Back when this book came out, people were freaking out about it. And I didn't read it until I think 2022. I loved it. I ate it up. Feminist romance. The author even says that these two people are supposed to be Kylo Ren and what's-her-face from one of the newer Star Wars movies. So this is supposed to look like Adam Driver. And I'm one of the girlies that likes Adam Driver. And it worked for me. I enjoyed the heck out of this. I loved the scientific aspects, I love the academic aspects, and I love the romance. But I know a lot of people had some issues with it. Let's see what they said. So clearly I'm like part of the majority because yet another 4-star rating on Goodreads, 4.14 to be exact, with almost 1.5 million ratings. And so far, I haven't been telling you, but so far all these books were books that I rated 5 stars. And again, majority of the ratings were 5 stars. I shouldn't say majority of the ratings were 5 stars, but 5-star has the most ratings. But there are 24,000 1-star ratings. I don't know what kind of drugs y'all are on, but I evidently did not receive my portion. I'm blocking everyone who said this was good on Book Talk. Block away, baby girl. There's one scene that people flipped out about in this book because they didn't think it was anatomically accurate. I personally didn't see the issue with this scene, and then this review, that's all they said. I'm not going to say what it is for a couple reasons, but gosh, these are all so long. Obviously a common thing to say. If I could give a book 0 stars, I would for this. Boring, overhyped, boring. I love this one. No. So that one wasn't that bad. So the next book I want to look at is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This is my first TJ Klune read, and this was actually like one of my first books that I read when I first joined Bookstagram. Feels a little bit nostalgic talking about it. Oh yeah, I did like a whole fan cast for this one as well. Welcome to Karen's Crossing. The tea is hot, the scones are fresh, and the dead are just passing through. There's this like tea shop, but it's where people who have recently passed away go to while they're kind of like processing what happened to them and trying to like move on to the next phase. So when a reaper comes to collect Wallace from his own funeral, Wallace begins to suspect he might be dead. And when Hugo, the owner of a peculiar tea shop, promises to help him cross over, Wallace decides he's definitely dead. I loved this book with my whole heart, and it was heart-wrenching. Like it's about death. There's a lot of really nice things that are said. Like if you struggle with death anxiety about yourself or loved ones, I feel like this book kind of holds your hand a little bit in a nice way. I absolutely love this one. Loved it. Okay. Oh, that one was also 5 stars. This one has just under 250,000 ratings and a 4.15 star rating on Goodreads. Again, the star rating with the most votes is 5 stars, but there are more than 2,000 1-star ratings. Okay. DNF. Oh, that's interesting. Even Kylo Ren had a better redemption arc than whatever this was. We just talked about Kylo Ren in the last one. Way too slow and odd. Definitely disappointed. It's definitely odd. But slow? I don't know. Another DNF. I did not like this book. It was just so heavy-handed. It felt like pandering, and the ending. Oh man, I have to stop with popular fiction. I loved the ending. What are you talking about? One of the worst books I've ever read. Not at all what I was expecting. Boo. And yet another. If I could give it a 0, I would. His writing is not my style because holy shit was it horrible. I happen to like it very much. So this one, whoops-a-daisies. Was this my first 5-star of the year? I can't remember. It was my first dark romance. I do know that. Gothicana by Brunex. I still love this book. The cover and yeah. This book was good. It was originally indie published, and actually Nell's Novels over on Bookstagram, she was probably one of the first people that I started following when I joined Bookstagram, and I've seen her talk about this book so many times. So I've had it on my TBR for a while because it was on KU, and every time that I had KU, I never got to it. I like rarely read KU books because like out of sight, out of mind, you know? I struggle with that. Then this book became traditionally published by Bramble with gorgeous purple sprayed edges. So I was like, obviously, I have to read this book now. Read it earlier this year and I loved it. It's like a super atmospheric, gothic, dark academia book about, I'm pretty sure it's a university. Yeah, she's of age at this university that you have to be invited to attend, kind of like Hogwarts. And then one of the professors who is also a PhD student at the university, the main character and this professor slash student, they're kind of like pulled together. They like fall in love. But there's also, it's not just romance. There's also like a mystery weaved throughout this story, and it kind of like the ending was really, really good in my opinion, as far as like the mystery aspect. I really liked it, but let's see what everybody else thought. So this book has 63,000 ratings on Goodreads. Okay, this is the first book that we're talking about that has less than an average 4-star rating. It has a 3.84, but the star rating with the most votes is still 5-star, but there are 2,700 1-star ratings. It's so bad I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible, so I give you a 1. A lot of DNFs. I'm the biggest sucker for dark academia and the gloomy atmospheric vibes that go along with it. As my first KU read, I thought there was no way I could go wrong with Gothicana. Okay, so some of these might have been people that read the book when it was on KU. I'm assuming once it was traditionally published, it had a little bit more editing done to it. Things went off the rails pretty quickly. What this story needs more than anything is a strong beta reader and or excellent editor. So yeah, that could be the issue, is that maybe the KU version was just not edited very well when it was indie published. Truly atrocious. Clapping emoji. Cartoonishly gothic with cringy dialogue and insipid romance. I'm convinced you people don't know what a good book is anymore. Girl, WTF. I like this one. 1 star for trying? Question mark? Sure. Okay. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is just a little horror novella. It's a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. This one has 80,000 ratings on Goodreads and an average star rating of 3.89. The star rating with the most votes on this one, though, is 4 stars. But there are 874 1-star reviews. I mean, I know Edgar Allan Poe married his 13-year-old cousin and all, but what did he do to deserve this? I really tried to like it, but I was completely bored the entire time. This was pretentious and boring AF, not scary at all. Next. So there are a lot of people saying stay away from the audiobook. I don't think I used the audiobook on that one, so maybe that's a good thing. The scariest and most entertaining thing about this book was how much I did not enjoy it. I don't feel quite as bad as I thought I was going to feel. Everyone is able to have their own opinions about books. I love these books. These are, I guess, my favorite books. I don't want to talk about it if you don't like these books. Well, that was fun. So proud that I didn't cry. Got a little defensive, but what are you gonna do? Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know if you've ever read a 1-star review on any of your favorite books and how it made you feel. I'm very curious. Until next time, friends. Bye.